I should have a Latin hour where all I talk about are Latin issues.
The more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. Stacy Stir.
Buenos dias. So
It's such an idiot. Cameron just requested a Latin hour.
Donde es?
But not for people. He would like to host it.
I get to host the Latin hour where all I focus are Latin American issues. The theme song will be the song from Chico and the Man. Chico, don't be discouraged. The man. I don't know the rest of it, but it's good.
Okay, so you got the theme song in your head. Do you know any other content for the show?
I mean, yeah, we're going to talk
Immigration, maybe?
We're going to
That'd
talk
be
about like,
Latin issue?
ooh, Chew butt looking so big in that dress. And then I'm going to talk about things like that. I'm going to talk about gangbanging.
Because we know all Latin people gangbang.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just kind of a given. We're going to talk about the symbolism of the teardrop tattoo.
I would be interested in that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I've always wondered about that.
We're going to throw a little bit out there about why sangria is the better choice at a quinceañera. So there are a lot of things that we can talk about. Shoot, I might even actually bring in some Latin guests.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
And it will appeal to our 4 Latin people.
The best part is
this
going to be
marketing?
I'm going to bring in somebody that speaks not a word of English. And they're going to sit across from me. No translator. I'm just going to be like, so, tell me how Latin America is. And they'll be like, ¿qué? You know what I mean?
The ironic thing is, you're probably going to bring in, as your guests, the only 4 potential listeners in the Bismarck Mandan area.
Yeah, right. But we go national.
That's true. And we do have quite a few listeners in California.
See?
We have a lot of listeners in Texas.
In goal, bring Charo. Coochie coochie!
There is so much wrong with you that I just don't even know where to start.
That would be my goal. Me and Charo hosting this show together. And then we get married.
Boy, to add Charo to the potluck, the URL Radio potluck that
Right.
we usually have.
George would be a lot of coochie coochie on him.
George is a different man.
Is he?
George, I think, has been...
Reformed?
Yeah.
Is that from living in my basement?
No, I think it's from moving back home.
I knew if I dumped enough holy water down the drain, it would leak into him.
So how was your vacation, Cam?
It was awesome.
Yeah?
I actually really did have
You
a
went
good
to Big
time.
Sky, right? Yellowstone?
No,
Yellowstone. Okay.
We rented an RV,
Okay.
and we hung out in Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. And it was good times. My birthday was out there. They surprised me with a cake
Nice.
and a birthday boy ribbon and hats.
By the way, Cameron went with a bunch of gay guys.
Well, okay, so there's 3 gay guys.
Because
gay
you know
girl-
straight guys are not going to surprise you with a birthday boy ribbon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they made
Just
me
to clarify that
they
right
made
now.
me wear it too.
Yeah.
I also I bought a coonskin hat out there.
Yeah.
I wore that
Surprised
bad
you
boy.
didn't make it.
Well, wait till you hear my story. I could have.
Okay.
And then I bought this like arrowhead necklace because I felt I deserved it.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. So my neighbor across the street and she drives a motorcycle. I drive a scooter. And-
That's sort of backwards, isn't
Right,
it? Right?
yeah. But it was awesome.
Yeah.
We decided to trailer our bikes out to Yellowstone. And I got to tell you, if you have 2 wheels, there's nothing better.
Yes.
We saw wolves. We
Then
saw
the freedom of the open country.
like 7 grizzlies.
Yeah, they have a lot of grizzly bears
Like
there.
this close. I mean, it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Mama cub and mama and cubs. Anyway, so I'm taking my scooter around. My scooter's been old, right? And I've been having troubles with it. And every time I buy a part and replace it, it doesn't seem to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Well, this time it did.
Oh,
right? So I was like,
okay.
all right, it's time to go. It seemed to fix the problem. Started going. All of a sudden, the problem came back. I
Yeah.
now know what the problem is. I'm ordering another part, and I'll have it fixed by the end of summer.
So that's the good news.
That's good news. Now, the worst part of that is
Yeah.
I got up to the top of the mountain, and that's where it died. So about 50 miles into the ride.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So I told everybody, we were heading to Old Faithful, and I
Mm-hmm.
told everybody else, I'm like, just go,
Yes.
and come back for me.
Okay.
right? Because we had the trailer at camp.
Yeah.
They're like, okay.
So what were you going to do? Just sort of hang out?
I sat there at an overlook where there were mountains
Yeah.
and trees behind me, and mountain trees in front of me, and I was alone.
That's great for grizzly bears.
Yeah. I didn't really think about it because I thought it was going to be like a 5-minute waiting there.
Yeah.
About an hour went by, and I'm sitting there. So I'm starting to freak out. You know? Every noise I heard was an animal.
Yeah.
Luckily, no animal showed up except this huge crow.
Okay.
But I made friends with it.
A crow or a vulture?
It was a crow. It was huge.
You see a vulture, you know it's bad.
Yeah, that would have been funny. That would have been so cool if they would have been circling. So anyway, we had to leave my scooter there, and then we drove down to Old Faithful and told the guy, hey, how much would it cost to tow? He's like, $150. I'm like, well, screw you. Because I thought if I could get it to the Old Faithful parking lot, we could come get it the next day with the trailer.
So you were stuck up the mountain. Mm-hmm. Couldn't you just like cruise it down like a bike?
There's dips, you know?
Oh. Damn.
So I left it, right?
Okay,
and then I said, well, can you call the park ranger? I said, would it be cool if I leave it there until tonight when we can go get it? Because we got to go 50 miles and come back.
Right.
And the guy like made this face like, no. I'm like, please? He's like, the Rangers are going to have a problem with it. He goes, but we're cool with the Rangers, so I'll call them. If I call you back, that means they have a problem with it. If I don't, you're fine.
Okay.
All right, so we do this thing. We do the Old Faithful and stuff. The guys were driving my car. The gal on the motorcycle had her bike. She's like, let's go, Cam. Let's go get you.
So you hopped on the back of her bike like a bitch.
I did.
Yeah?
And it was still cool to see Yellowstone that way.
Oh, yeah.
Until it got cold and rainy and sleety. Yeah. It started snowing, essentially, while I'm on the back of this bike. And I'm like, are we almost there yet? Because we got to a sign that said 12 miles left to where we were supposed to go.
Right.
And I'm like, we got to be almost there, huh? She goes, we've only gone 2 miles. Right? So I thought I was going to die. Anyway, so we get so this is the beginning of the crazy story. We get in the car with the trailer, and we head out to the thing. All of a sudden, we start seeing lightning, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, snap. We better get there. We get there. We load the scooter up, strap it down. As soon as we do the last strap and throw up the back gate, jump in the car, torrential downpour.
Yeah.
So luckily.
Nice. Like out of a movie.
So far, win.
Yeah.
Total win. So then we're driving back, right? And we got into deep conversation. We didn't really know each other very well, so we started bonding.
Yes.
And we're driving down the radio. Hi, buds. We're driving down the radio. Why did I say that?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. You lost me there for a minute, too. I think you got distracted by the dudes walking on the street.
They were so hot. Anyway.
They're checking you out, too.
Damn right they were.
Okay.
Anyway, so we were cruising and must have missed a turn because all of a sudden I looked at her and I'm like, how come we're at the south entrance, you know? So we drove all the way to the south entrance.
Oh.
Right? And we were in the middle of the park.
Okay.
That's where we were camping. So then we turn around, chuckling.
Yes. Ha.
Right? Turn around. Yeah. And we, I noticed the sign. Have you seen the sign outside of Yellowstone?
Probably. It's been a while. We're going to go there this summer, but it's been a while since I've been there.
I guess it's illegal to harass or molest the animals.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
And they need to call that out on a sign.
They do. You're in Montana.
You know what I thought would be an awesome picture?
Of you doing a fake
me behind a
goat or
buffalo
something.
in front of that sign. Slapping its butt, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do remember seeing that. They've had those signs up for a long time, and you know that there's a reason they put those up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to hear where the story gets crazy?
Okay.
We're driving back up from South Entrance.
Okay.
And it's dark now.
Yes.
You know? And we're driving, and all of a sudden there's like a minivan. I mean, straight out of a horror movie. You know?
Is it still raining?
It's raining.
See? Yep. Then just straight out of a horror movie.
And it's dark, and there's trees on either side. Anyway, there's this minivan in the middle of the road, in the middle of the night, with its hazards on. And we pull up next. I'm like, what's this guy doing? Like, if you're looking at wildlife, pull over.
Pull over to the side of the road.
That's what everybody else does.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to sound racist.
Coming from the guy that always complains about racism.
Right.
Yeah.
But we drive around and we see who's in the car, and I'm like, oh, it's Asians. Keep going. Right?
What?
Because they stop at, like, every deer. Like, hey, look, a cat. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
I know. I'm sorry, Asian
That is
people.
horribly racist.
It is.
Because usually they don't stop in the middle of the road, do they?
Right. Well, I'll explain to you why they were in the middle of the road.
Okay.
As soon as we figured out who they were and came around, I noticed that the entire front end of their minivan is completely, like, caved in and crushed, right?
Oh,
But all they're doing is sitting in there.
Yeah.
So we pull over.
Must have
Do you know why it was crushed?
I'm thinking they must have hit an animal.
There was an elk laying in front of the minivan,
Yeah.
convulsing.
Yeah, it wasn't dead yet.
No.
Yeah,
So I
that's
went
horrible.
up to the minivan. I'm like, do you guys need help?
Hit it again.
They had no clue how to speak any English. And I'm like, help? And they didn't do anything. They just sat in
They
the
just
minivan.
looked at you?
Yeah, and I'm like, help? And they're just like,
Were they dazed, do you think?
maybe.
Were they
But I'm like,
injured?
okay, I'll help. So
Okay.
I'm looking at the elk, and I walk over to my friend's driver's side window. She's giggling. And I just throw my hands up, and I'm like, well, I'm going to have to effing kill this thing now.
Yeah, because you don't want it to sit there and suffer.
Right? So she...
And of course, we all know you pack heat.
Right? So she starts belly laughing. I'm like, do you have a knife? Because I was just going to slit its throat. She left the knife back at that would be the most humane way to do it.
Yeah, you don't want him to sit there and suffer.
Right? With no
Is
knife.
that the most humane way to do it? No, probably just shooting it. But,
But where am I
slit
gonna? You
its
can't bring a
throat.
firearm in there. If I would have shot it, you know how fast I would have got arrested. So I'm gonna slit its throat, but we didn't have a knife, so I'm like, damn it. My friend's just belly laugh rolling, like, ho ho. I'm just laughing.
That's a horrible situation.
She's like, nobody's gonna understand this. So do you know what I end up doing?
What's wrong with her?
People are gonna hate me right now.
Did you stomp on its head?
I picked up a boulder. And I looked at I mean, it was convulsing, like its tongue was hanging out, right?
Yeah.
And I bash it on the head. And I don't think anybody even understands what's going through my head right now.
Because you're a pacifist.
Right?
You don't like to kill spiders.
Yeah, and on top of this, it didn't die. Okay? It screamed like crazy. Not only did the elk scream like crazy, but the Asian women in the minivan were screaming as well. So I had double screams. These screams are haunting me forever. I had to do it 3 times. And with every blow to the elk's head, except for the last one,
Yeah.
these Asian women were screaming like, ah! And, you know, like the first 2, the elk was like, it was just the worst noise ever, right? And there was nothing more I could do. I was bothered. We got in the van and left, or the car and left, and I just left them there. You know?
So you walk up, speak a language these people don't understand, take a boulder, beat this elk to death, get in the car, and drive off. Welcome to America, Asian
I
people.
guess that's kind of the only joy I get out of it, is that they've now gone back to Hong Kong or whatever. And people are like, so how was America? And all they can say is, they're freaking crazy, man. But you know what would have been better if I did have a knife? If I would have just cut out its heart, bit it, threw it on the ground, and walked away. That would have been funny.
That would have been interesting. Well, thanks for that comedy relief today. So otherwise, the trip was good.
Yeah, but now I'm dubbed Elk Killer.
Is that why you felt like you earned your arrowhead?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to wear it.
Oh my gosh.
That was all on my birthday, by the way.
Well, happy
The
birthday,
bike
Cam.
broke down on my birthday.
Yeah.
The elk killing was on my birthday.
That's going to be a 40th birthday you are never going to forget.
40th. It was. It's close enough. It just as well could be.
Oh. My question is, where'd you get the boulder from? Did you have to go rummaging around?
No,
There was quite a few laying along the
side of
road.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a nice thing about being in the mountains.
The mountainous region.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Otherwise, the camping trip was good.
Yeah, it was all right. The camper was cool.
Did you hook up with your neighbor?
Oh, yeah, full on.
See if you'd... Not the gay one. I should preface. The straight one that drove the bike?
She wasn't straight.
Oh. So you were really a man on an island, weren't you?
Yeah, well, there was a straight girl there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you hit that?
I didn't hit that.
Oh, my God.
I kicked her ass, though.
Really? Did you get a boulder?
Yeah, she's afraid of me now.
Oh, my gosh.
But we
right.
were bunk mates because, let's face it, my neighbor across the street didn't want to bunk with me.
Oh.
No, but it was funny. There's a picture. There's a place there called Fairy Geyser or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a little sign.
Yeah.
Fairy Island. I don't remember.
Did your friends all dress up like princess?
No, we drove by it and they're like, we got to take a
Priscilla.
picture by it. So the three guys, they just took a normal picture by it.
Yeah.
Then they took their fabulous picture by it. You
Yeah.
know, like it was so funny. We had so much fun though. I really didn't. I couldn't have had a better group of people to go with. Like it was a really good time.
It should have probably been filmed for some kind of an independent film channel movie.
Right?
I'm thinking, yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Great idea for a reality show for some of these stupid networks.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that out to my neighbors this weekend.
You absolutely should. Yeah.
I'm going to say that. I'm like 3 gay guys, a lesbian, and 2 straight people.
Yeah.
Go in an RV and drive around the country.
Yeah.
Great concept, not?
Ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. Ridiculous shenanigans ensue. Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I did all this crap without a TV camera crew.
Could you even imagine had a camera crew been there when you had to kill the elk?
If there was, I guarantee you I would have torn its skin off and worn it as a coat the rest of the night. But can you just imagine what I mean? You should have heard these women in that van screaming.
Oh, I bet.
Like I was the worst person in the world. I'm like, you don't understand. Your dad or husband or whoever this guy is,
yeah,
just hit this thing,
and it's suffering now on the road,
and it's convulsing on the floor, and you're just sitting there watching it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm thinking they must have been in shock until you took out the boulder, snapped them back to reality.
But I do have a little bit of joy in knowing that they're now at home telling people my story.
Right? Your story has crossed the waters, my friend.
That's right.
Epic.
That's huge.
That's huge. You could be, all of a sudden there'll be a billboard up in Japan sometime. Like, elk killer.
They're hunting me down for like wildlife.
For monster drinks. You're going to all of a sudden be promoting like monster energy drinks over in Japan.
What did my friend say the other day? He goes, yeah, I was telling my boss about the story.
Yeah.
About how you killed an elk with your bare hands. And I'm like, the more you say it, the more badass I sound.
It does.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Hey, ladies, I killed elk.
With my bare hands
right?
and a rock.
Hey, your little redneck husband out there shooting in a tree stand after he throws baits down?
I'd have killed for a gun.
Pussy. Right?
There's no sport in that. I'd have killed for a gun.
Right? And all they do is kill a stupid little deer. This elk.
I killed a large, gigantic, 1,000-pound elk with a boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bring it.
It's massive. I see the billboard in Japan right now. Monster energy drink.
They're looking for me.
Elk killer.
Like they want me to do a Japanese reality show.
Right.
On killing animals.
And so now all of a sudden, even though you hated it so much, that's what you're known as?
I've now got the taste for death. Right? And then all weekend, like everybody on my camping crew is like, that's how Jeffrey Dahmer started out.
They do. They always start with animals.
I know. And
Hurting
now all of a
killing
sudden, all I
animals.
want to do is drill little holes into people's heads and make them zombies. It's bizarre. I don't know where it came from.
You should probably get to work, huh, Cam?
Yeah, I should go. But
Yeah.
I want everybody to know that it was hard for me to do. I felt terrible.
I know.
But now in retrospect, now that it's done, it's freaking awesome. But at the time, man, I almost cried. Like, I was like so...
You were probably weeping while you were doing it, weren't you?
I felt
I'm
bad.
so sorry.
Well, you should have heard it. If you would have heard the noise, like, I think a slit to the throat would have been so much better.
I know.
I could have done it. Huh. I did the right thing.
You did the right thing. Don't question it. I see the questioning in your eye. You're fine. I see the doubt.
Nah, dude, I'm just high.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
All right, well.
See you Monday.
See ya, Cam.
Is there a holiday?
No holidays this Monday. Sorry.